All right, so for this section, the instructions say find all angles from 0 degrees to 360 degrees that solve the following equation. Cosine of theta is equal to 1. Okay, so let me screenshot this so that I can point and write and all of that good stuff. And let me remind you that we said the x values are cosine, and then the y values are sine in all of the coordinates. So if we know that our cosine is 1, this is our x value. I'm lagging, so I'm going to give it a moment to catch up. Okay, so what I was trying to say before I lagged out was that we know cosine is x, right over here, and that sine is y. And so since we know that, if they tell us cosine of theta is 1, then we know that our x is equal to 1. So let me get rid of all my arrows. Okay, and so what that means is, now that we know that our x value is 1, you look everywhere on this unit circle. Where do you see that our x value is 1? And I see it right over here. So literally look at all these coordinates. That's not 1, that's not 1, not 1, that's a 0. The only place you will see the 1 is right over here. Okay, and so they gave us the value. We need to tell them the angle. It says find all angles. So we're going to tell them the angle. And this angle that corresponds with this point is 0 degrees. So we're working backwards this time. You guys were used to me giving you the angle and you telling me the value. Now they're telling you the value and you have to find the angle. Okay? So it's just the inverse of it. We're just going backwards. So I know it's just one example so far. We're going to do a few more. But before we do, does anybody have questions so far? All right, well, make sure you interrupt me if you do, and I will help you right away, of course. I will answer your question as best that I can. But since you guys didn't say anything, our answer was 0 degrees, and we submit. And let's go on to another problem. Okay, cool. Oh, sorry. Let me go back. How do I do that? Go back, go back. Oh, somebody said that I cut out for them. That's what happened. In case you're wondering why I went back. Okay, so just to repeat what I said, we know that cosines are x and sine is our y. So if they tell us cosine of theta is equal to 1, then we know that our x is equal to 1 because cosine and x are the same thing. So we look on our unit circle to see where we have 1 as our x value. I probably cut out again because my internet connection is unstable. Okay, so what I was trying to say was cosine is the x, so you are looking for cosine equals 1, then you're looking for x equals 1. So on the unit circle, the only spot where we see x is equal to 1 is where my big blue arrow is, and that spot corresponds with 0 degrees, so our answer is 0 degrees. You can let me know if you still need another repetition, because I don't know how much I cut out. I guess I have bad internet today. Okay, let me know if you got more questions, but I'm gonna go back to this thing, and I'm gonna screenshot it again because it's just easier this way. Okay, so now we're waiting for my computer to catch up, waiting for my internet to catch up. I guess today's just one of those days. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm sorry for lagging. Okay, so we have tangent is equal to negative root 3. Okay, so whenever you see negative root 3, this happens because you simplified your fraction, right? So tangent is always, let me write out, tangent is sine over cosine, so that means it's y over x, because remember that sine is y, Oops. Okay, I realized I cut out and I was muted and just all sorts of internet stuff happening today. Great. Okay. What I was trying to say was that tangent is sine over cosine, and you know that sine is y and cosine's x. So tangent is y over x. Okay. And the only way you can get your y over x to simplify to negative root 3 is that one of them has to be negative. Okay. So let me first of all highlight where or how I got that. So since our tangent, our y over x, became negative root 3, you want your fraction to be negative. That means you want either the numerator or the denominator to be negative. One negative, one positive, okay? So the only places on the unit circle that happens are in these two quadrants. This quadrant and this quadrant. And I highlight these quadrants because take a look at the x and y values. There's going to be one positive, one negative, 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 one positive, one negative. And you want that to happen because if you're going to divide them and you want the answer to be a negative number, you need one of them to be positive and one of them to be negative. Okay, so I don't know if I cut out at all, but does anybody have questions, or can somebody tell me if I cut out? Yeah, okay. Great. Okay, I'll repeat. I'm so sorry. Okay. I don't even know where I cut out, so I'll just say it again. I highlighted those two sections because there's one positive and one negative. And the reason you want that is because if you want your overall answer to be a negative number and you're getting that number by dividing two things, you need one of those two things, either your x or your y. One of them has to be negative and the other has to be positive. So that's why I highlighted those two sections. Okay. Okay, so with that being said, let's also now figure out how we get to the root 3 part of it, okay? So for the y value, you want the root 3 over 2, and for the x value, you want the 1 over 2. Remember that everything's over 2, so then they get to cancel out. Sorry, this is a 3. Remember that everything's over 2 so that they get to cancel out, the over 2's. So this is the way you would simplify to get the root 3 as the numerical part of your answer. So we want our y to be the root 3 over 2, and we want the x to be the 1/2. Okay, and I think I probably cut out a little bit because I saw some lag when I was explaining. So what I was trying to say again was that to get the root 3 as your answer, you want the root 3 over 2 on top, and you want the 1/2 on the bottom. Okay, and then that's what we're going to be looking for in those two yellow highlighted sections. So let me look for it and I'll highlight them in blue, I guess. Okay, so where on these highlighted sections do we see the x value as 1/2 and the y value as root 3 over 2? Those two blue points that I just kind of blobbed in. Okay, so I know this lesson's a little bit more confusing because you have to work backwards, but that's why I suggest you guys take notes, because remember that you can use all your notes on the test. Okay. Okay, so we found those 2 points, and then, well, then we just write the angles of those 2 points. So 120 degrees and 300 degrees. Okay, so this one is like a heavier example, it's a harder example, and I cut out like at least 3 times. So if anybody has a question, please let me know so I can clarify.
Wait, I'm confused.
Yes.
How, so do you look for the problem that has -3 in radical?
Um, are you talking about like this one? Like this number? What do we do with it?
Yes.
Okay, so this number is the result of the y over x. So y over x is going to equal negative radical 3.
Okay.
Because tangent is the negative radical 3. So then, because it's a tangent, you have to like do more stuff to it. Tangents are always more difficult than the sines and cosines. So for the tangent, you know that the y divided by x gives us the negative root 3. And so the only way, oh, I cut out again. Okay. All right, so the negative radical 3 is the result of y over x. And so then you have to think what y value divided by x value can give me a negative radical 3. So I started off by saying what y divided by x can give me a negative number. And then that's how I got those two yellow sections that I sectioned off in the unit circle, because those are the only two quadrants where you can get a negative result from the tangent. And that's a result of the, like one of the, well, I probably cut out again. It says my internet connection is stable. So I sectioned off those quadrants because one of the x and y, one of them is negative and the other is positive. So that when you divide them, you can get the negative result. And then you have to think for the number part, so the radical 3, how can you get radical 3 by dividing two things? Well, radical 3 is the same as radical 3 over 1. But then remember, everything on the unit circle is over 2. So it's radical 3 over 2 divided by 1 over 2. So that's like the correct y and the correct x that you would use to get the radical 3 as your answer. I don't know how much I cut off again, or if that even helped explaining. Can you let me know if there's anything else I can clarify? Okay. So does anyone else have a question? Once again, I really don't know how much I cut out. Okay. So just make sure you let me know if you have questions, and I'll try my best to answer it, and I'll hope my internet doesn't die. What is the answer though? Right here. 120 degrees and 300 degrees. It's the angles. So it's these angles. Other questions? Okay, let's do more examples. Let's try to see what else we can do. What was it? 120 and 300. Remember when you have two answers, you want to press that little plus sign so you get another box. Let's do another problem. Did we not just do this? Okay, let me just. Okay, there we go. Let's do this one. You know, once my computer catches up and stuff. So I know when I'm lagging. At least I know when my screen share is lagging. I don't know when my voice lags, so that's when you guys have to tell me. But okay, cool. So my image finally caught up to us. We are on cosine of theta is -1. So let me just remind you that cosine is our x value, sine is our y value. I'll wait till we catch up. Okay, so we know that cosines are x value and sine is our y value. So if they tell us cosine of theta is -1, then this is our x value. So we are looking for the x value on this unit circle where the x value is -1. I just realized it's still lagging. How's my voice? Like, am I cutting out? Is my voice cutting out? Yes? Wonderful. Yes, I love this. Okay, so let me say this again. Wait, can you see the screen right now? Now we can. Okay, so once again, our cosine is the x, our sine is the y. So if the problem says cosine of theta is -1, then we know that our x value is -1 because cosine is the x value. Okay. So anytime I cut out, you just need to tell me so then I know I need to repeat, okay? And I appreciate you guys, thank you. Okay, so we're gonna look on our unit circle. Where do we see an x value of -1? So I'm gonna look at all our x values. Nope, nope, nope. Oh look, it's right there. Here's our x value when our x value is -1. Okay, so we found our x value, we found our cosine, we found where it equals -1, then we just need to tell delta math the angle. So this is the angle, this is our answer. See, cosines and sines are like much simpler than the tangent. The tangent's the crazy one. Okay. Any questions on this cosine example? Alrighty, let's put this answer in then. 180. Okay, let's do more examples because I know this one's like hard. This what's it called? This section is difficult, and not to mention I cut off so many times you guys are probably like twice as confused as usual. So let's do more. This one says sine of theta is √3/2. So remember that we have cosine is our x value, sine is our y value. That's supposed to say y. Okay, so then if they tell us sine of theta is equal to radical 3/2, then we know that our y value is equal to radical 3/2. Oh, if you want to put two answers in, use that arrow. I mean, sorry, that plus sign. Okay, that was a answer to a chat message. Okay, so we have that our y value is equal to radical 3/2. Let's take a look. So we want a positive y value, so we're gonna look in like these two quadrants, okay? Let me undo that messy scribble. Okay, so looking in those positive y value quadrants, look for the y value that is radical 3/2. Nope, nope. There it is. But just so you know, there's gonna be another one sometime, so you gotta keep looking. Nope. Oh look, another radical 3/2 as our y value. And nope, and nope. Okay, so then we found it. There are two answers here. We have 120 and 60. So let me write down the two answers, 120 and 60 as our two answers. Once again, when you have two answers, in case you forgot, use this plus sign button and it will create a second box for you to type your answer into. I'll show you what the second box looks like once I click it later. But any questions on how to get 120 degrees and 60 degrees as our answer for this one? Okay, make sure you interrupt me if you do have a question, and I'll do my best to explain to you. So 120, and I press the plus. Now you get a second box to write your answer in, and I'll put 60. Let's see. Let me give you another tangent one because tangents are the hard ones. I'm just gonna keep giving up until I get a tangent. Cool, okay, tangent's undefined. So remember that tangent is the y over x. So that means our undefined is the y over x. Okay, so any questions on that so far? Okay, then how do we get a fraction to be undefined? Well, you just need to divide by 0. So it's some number, who cares what that y is, over 0, because anything divided by 0 is undefined. So in this specific case, what we are looking for is so that our x is equal to 0, because tangent is y divided by x, and if our tangent's undefined, that means we're dividing by 0, that means our x is 0. So we're really going to be looking for 0 as our x value. Do you guys have any questions up until here? Okay, so let's look for 0 as our x value. All right, it happens right here and right here. 0 as our x value. Okay, so now that we found 0 as our x value, we just need to tell Delta Math the two angles that they correspond with, so 90 degrees and 270 degrees. Do you guys have any questions on this one? Okay, let's put those in. 90, 270. Okay, so we did 5 examples, and there are 10 problems total to do. I think I'll just let you guys go into breakout rooms so that you guys can call me over when you guys need more help. Let me show you the next section also.